Day 11, back in the shop. I went to Laguna Beach this morning, picked up a few pieces that I'll show you later today. For about the last hour, I've been working on doing some touch-ups and repairs. I'll show you the last little bookshelf. I'll show you that next. First off, I want to show you this table that Ivan has been working on. Remember last week it was that Duncan 5 pedestal table? It's now sanded, repaired. All the leaves are lined up. Everything is fairly level again for being a 80-year-old table. It's in really good shape. But we had a little issue today. Due to the weather out here in California, it's been really cool at night, and then it's been warming up the last few days to about 80 degrees. Because of that, this is made out of solid hardwood. I think it's a birch or a maple. And what it is that solid hardwood will expand and contract in this weather, and it'll expose any of the little hairline cracks that are naturally occurring to this table. Ivan was done with this table a couple hours ago. It was ready to go, sitting out here near the sun and the wind. It dried out the wood a little bit more, exposed 2 more little cracks, which is good because I'd rather have that happen here now in my shop before it goes back to the customers. At least here it's easily repairable. 5 more minutes, this will be ready to go. We'll get some stain on it and get it in the booth for sealer. While I was down in Laguna Beach, I met with Luis from Universal Upholstery, picked up a few of the samples that the customer wanted to see in person. I'm going to mail them out to her probably tomorrow morning. But first, I wanted to get your opinion. This customer was wanting to go for something unique, maybe kind of bold, one of a kind. We have a darker gray and a kind of a lighter pewter. They have a metallic shimmer to it that it's really hard to tell in person, in the camera. But what it is, I really like this gray because it's going to go with the character of the piece. The dark black, the silver here, the dark gray, and it really is just going to kind of tie in with the whole character of the piece. Then we have this lighter one, kind of pewter. This is going to just stand out and just contrast dramatically, which will give it its own, it'll showcase in a different way. I'm really unsure on which one is the best option. Let me know what you think down below, and we'll see what the customer decides. Get that chair out of the way. I want to bring you in and I got to do one more touch up on here, kind of blend in some of these edges, and there's a little line in the middle. So what I'm going to do, kind of make up my color once again, kind of play with it. So this is where the artistry comes in. You really need to take your time, figure out the colors. So there's a scratch mark in it that we couldn't get out, so I'm going to try to at least add a little color to it. I don't like that yet. I kind of need to lighten it up just a fuzz. I said you don't get every scratch out. Every once in a while there'll be one that stays. You'd rather do a repair than pass through the veneer. When you start passing through the veneer, it adds a whole new level of touch-up skills. You need to blend it back in. Take a little bit of my little toner. So we're just trying to mask it. So let that tack up for a minute and come right back. Alright, I'm going to put one more little coat of toner on it just to even that out before I get it in the spray booth, in which we're going to spray more toner on it, different color, but out of the spray gun. These I just typically use just for touch-ups, blending things in, making sure colors match. What I'm going to do, I'm going to set up this to dry, make a little bit of space, and move that large coffee table over here because it also needs some major repairs as well. So let me grab that. So let me move those samples out of the way. But you can see on this one as well, it had a section that had a past section of veneer. Someone refinished this maybe decades ago. It had the Home Depot polyurethane on it, a bunch of Bondo that were replaced with the Mohawk epoxy. It had 2 of these were actually snapped off and broken. We re-glued those back up, which I think we have a little bit of an epoxy filler. Forget where it was. It might have been one of the other ones, but we're going to have to do a little repair work, do touch-ups, and then this one can go in for toner later today as well. I'm going to get back to touching this up in just a little bit, maybe after lunch. First, I want to get these last two pieces reassembled. First is that bar stool that you've been watching us restore. I'm going to get it put back together, cleaned up. Let me go get the third piece to it. And then second, we'll be putting this dining table leaves back together as well. First off, we're going to take our little hooks off that we custom make, so that way we can hang all of this, all the furniture in here. Then I got to remember how it goes back together exactly. So I know there's one long screw that goes through here like this. Yeah, that's what it is. So I think I need to put, let's see, I think we'll put this long screw in first. So we tape everything back up so we don't lose any screws or hardware. So there's the longer one. 2, 3, 4. I think they're all, I said those are the same. So that these go to the seat cushions. Let me get this and figure this out. All right, I got the screwdriver that I needed. First off, it's kind of funny. We noticed that the piece of, the support bar covers the logo. Kind of poor design by whoever made this one. But like I mentioned before, they made a lot of these chairs in, just single cushions, no back support. So this could have just been one that they planned for, mass produced, that it was just going to be used for, a seat, no back support. Now it's hidden. But we took pictures, we sent it to the customer, so that way they know that what they have. So this long screw actually runs, let's see, runs here. Actually, I think I was wrong. The long screw goes, that looks better. The long screw actually goes through the front. A lot of times I like to label these things and I didn't. So that way, yeah, that's where it goes. Once again, we're doing it all by hand. There's no reason to damage your piece of furniture by trying to speed up using a drill. Make sure that the screws go in tight because someone's going to be sitting on here. And you don't want to have them sit on it and it snap off. And two of these are set up with a few little bolts on the back side. So then just put it in carefully. I kind of like to go back and forth on it. Get them so they kind of go down evenly. And you can make sure it's level and goes back in where it's supposed to. So I just have to put the little caps back in here, and this will be ready to go. All right, I'm going to set this aside. All I'm going to do next is just wipe off the fabric a little bit, clean it a little bit more. But next, I'm going to put together the leaves on this dining table. Good. All right, now that I got everything I needed, we can get these hinges back in here. Remember, I already did this once. I already put these together, opened them up, and realized that I must have bumped it at some point, and I had to fix it. So that doesn't happen very often, but accidents still occur. Make sure that we get these. We already cleaned the brass up last week. Get these in, basically get these first 4 in, and then I can put the other one on top and set it in place. Now that we got those set up, I can grab the other leaf, carefully set it right on top. So just working slow, don't force it. Get it to press in place before you put any screws in. So 4 more screws here, and this one's ready to go back to Hollywood. And I think I did mention before, it's for a buddy of mine named Seth, owns a company called The Modern Find. Go check him out on Instagram. Really good guy. Has a lot of stuff imported from Denmark. Does a lot of furniture, but also does a lot of smalls like rugs and like pottery, little things like that. So let him know that I sent you. He'll love to hear that. Now that we got it together, we just moved the whole unit as one. So this is where it gets a lot more tricky. Just knowing how it operates is important. We took pictures of this as well, so we knew how it went back together. I said this is the second time now I've done it, so now I know how it goes back in. So just always just trying to find the hole. We know how difficult that can be sometimes. There it is. Just gotta get it by feel. Got the screwdriver, so a lot of this you could do one-handed. Do one on each side. So then I can go back and now I can let it go without concern of it falling down. Do this last one and we'll open it up. And hopefully we didn't scratch it again, but I highly doubt that. It's a really cool table. And then it'll close up, which usually I need 2 people. I'll wait till we're done filming to close it up properly. But yeah, it's ready to go. Those bookshelves and that little coffee table are all touched up. I sprayed a coat of toner on them. We're going to let it kind of off gas for just a minute. But I wanted to come on here and just tell you more about my private refinishing community. First off, it's the only place on the internet where I answer your questions. I've had hundreds of questions asked of me here on Instagram, and I wish I would have kept those questions and answers and created a database. Therefore, I created this school community so they're here forever. Next is my book course. I've created this chapter-by-chapter guide from my refinishing book. If you want to have access to that, you could buy a membership to this community, and you have full access to this book. Right now, we have chapters 1 through 14 up. In every chapter, we have book courses, tests, question and answers. We have pro tips. We have materials and tools checklists, and it can just go chapter by chapter to help you out to better your knowledge in the refinishing industry. On top of all of that, this is one of the only places online where I have my long form technical videos. Right now, my first long form, which is a 48-minute video on how to repair the shock mounts on the Eames Lounge chairs. Check that video out, and we have more in store. So if this is something that sounds interesting to you, go down in the description down below, comment the word school, or just go to the link in my bio. Go sign up. I invite you to come, but let's get back to work. We're running out of space here in the shop, though, so I want to take apart a couple cabinets today just to make a little room. I could then transport these, on a dolly vertically and take up a lot less space in here. I was looking over this, and these doors are really hard to get out. I was kind of curious why. These have the cam locks, which are similar to what you see on like IKEA furniture. It has these cam locks, which you have to loosen up first. And what it does is it frees up the center section by about 1/4 of an inch. That way I could bring the door over, bring it towards the center, pop it out. Once again, we'll go with the second door, bring it right towards the middle, lift it up, pop it out. It's the first time I've seen this in probably 10 years. I haven't had this issue. Normally these doors have guides, but these guides are either screwed in, pressed in, or have like a spring on the top and you just pop them to pull them out. So now you can see how far down we take these pieces. Here are the doors and the legs. And then you can see here, we have the cabinet shell and the leg base. We're going to disassemble this as far down as it can go. We're not refinishing inside. We're not stripping every inch of it. What we're going to do next is tape it up. So when we do strip, we're only going to strip the top, the sides, and the back panel. but inside is once again going to get sealed, clear coated, protected, and it's going to look brand new inside with minimal amount of work. Let's get back in the spray booth. As I mentioned earlier, we sprayed toner on this little guitar pick table. We let it off gas a little bit, get some of those fumes to dry, evaporate. But what we're going to do now is spray another coat to just get it to that perfect color that this customer is expecting. I already have the color mixed up in the gun. I'm going to pop my mask on and get spraying. I wanted to explain one thing to you guys. As you notice, I wasn't spraying just evenly back and forth. Because of these lips that it has, if I were to just keep doing this, we would get shadows in certain corners that the gun wasn't going to actually get near. So you spray the opposite direction, go cross. It's not typical with, we usually go with the grain on almost every piece, but you don't have to. As long as you know how to keep it even, keep the gun moving like you saw, it should come out perfect every time. I'm going to let those off gas and put one more coat on before the end of the day. But before that, I wanted to come on here and get your input. What do you think of the format of these videos? Do you like seeing the beginning, the during, and the final reveal of these pieces? Let me know down in the comments below. I really value your input. I want to see what you feel. Maybe things I could do better, things you want to see from me here in the shop. And I'll take it, I'll take it into consideration and bring it into these videos. I'll see you guys tomorrow.